Hi, I'm Kyteman. This is my daughter Kara. I call her Monser. Today I'm without a hat. My hair's getting long because I haven't had a cut since well before the virus lockdown started, so I don't really want to wear a mask to get it cut again, so it's not a protest, it's just I don't really feel like it. So today I want to start off by apologizing to one of our commenters, Flora Morrison, because I responded to her comment saying that we were going to release a video yesterday, Monday, and then we didn't do it until today, so I apologize to Flora for that. Do you want to apologize to Flora?
Sorry.
Sorry. Alright, so Monster's been home for about just over 2 weeks now, and we've been jailed up in our house for those 2 weeks because that's the law here in Canada. We finally did get a chance to get out and see some people. That was fun. I guess I want to start off by just asking you, Monster, what it's been like since you've been home, because when you are in Bible school, you are kind of in a bubble and you're doing everything together. What's it been like since you've been home out of your bubble?
Yeah, it's been, I guess this time coming home feels a little bit different than like coming home from in the past from Capernwray and from Kona when I was volunteering then, because those times I felt a lot more affected by this bubble thing, because yeah, you're right, you're going from like living with like this huge community of like Christians and we have the same values and beliefs and everything, and then you're just like hit by reality basically again, and everything's kind of the same as it was when you left. That being said, I've felt that before, but this time it feels a bit different because I mean, well, the first 2 weeks were a really slow, easy adjustment because we were like just at home, so I didn't see any of my usual friends that I would see at home. I didn't have any of that. I didn't even have like church. We had online church, but other than that, yeah, it was just kind of me and my family, so
yeah, all
just
of us were home.
A lot of time to process. It's been about 3 or 4 days now not in quarantine, so even after that I don't feel very affected by this bubble thing, but I do understand what it's like because it can sometimes be very hard to like process what's going on because your mindset is still very much in where you were when you were living with a bunch of people, and like the friends that you talk to don't always understand exactly where you're coming from because it's very different. They've never experienced that before, and if they have, they weren't living in that situation for the past 6 or however many months, so it can be hard. For me, it wasn't actually very hard this time, thankfully. It hasn't been yet. I mean, it's only been 2.5 weeks, so we'll see. I think it was really nice because I was able to have those 2 weeks just on my own to like I said, process and spend a lot of time just in prayer and like doing the same kind of morning like routine, kind of like quiet time in the morning and like spending time with prayer and in study. So it wasn't a whole lot different, but I guess kind of coming back in and reincorporating that into my like old routines and just like coming back to work or with whatever else that I'm doing, just actually making that a part of my day, I guess.
So, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about as far as the bubble, because a long time ago, over 30 years now, it'll be 33 years ago that I went to Bible school. It's just a 1 year, basically learning Old Testament survey, New Testament survey. We studied Romans, so it was actual Bible school, and we had exams and such. And it was 8 months that we were gone. It was in Peterborough at a school called Kawartha Lakes Bible School, so KLBS. Unfortunately, KLBS isn't going anymore. It closed down back in 2014, which is too bad. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I was there, and that's actually where I met your mom, my wife, Kawartha Lakes Bible School. And no, so we got married. That's been almost 30 years we've been married. It'll be 30 years on the 28th. So when I came home, I remember my first job that I had. I wasn't working at a Christian organization or anything. And I remember going in, and we were having a meeting, and we were sitting around this big, like, corporate table type thing. And the guy that was heading up the meeting, our boss, he goes, "All right, well, let's get the meeting started." And so we're sitting at the table, and I immediately, this was not a Christian organization, and I immediately just put my head down like this, closed my eyes, and put my head down like this, because I was expecting that we were going to open in prayer, because that's what we've been doing for the last 8 months. Yeah. But that didn't happen because I was just at work, and so I just kind of raised my head and hoped nobody saw me, and I wasn't ashamed about it, but I felt silly. So I do know what you're talking about, and it can be difficult. But what made it easy for me was I came home and was able to step right back in to the local church that I had left 8 months prior. I just came right back in. I went to a brethren church in Tillsonburg, and I was able to step right back into it. My friends were there, and my parents and everybody, and so it was quite easy just to step back in. Have you found, because we are in lockdown in Canada, in Ontario anyway, and we're not, churches you are able to go, our church just has not opened, so we have not been going, and you came home to no church. Mm-hmm. How has that been? I know what it's been like for me, but what has it been like for you? Did you just yawn?
Well, I was half yawn.
All my Sunday school students will be going,
I didn't.
"Kyteman, tell her to cover her mouth."
Well, I kind of prepared myself for that being in Australia, and although I've been in a Christian community for months now, we haven't been to church in 3 or 4 months now, so it's still kind of been the same there. We will just do online church, but it is a bit different because I do still have the community, and that's a big part of church. But coming home here, I was ready for that, but I have been really excited, like, to actually start getting involved in, like, a new church. The other thing is I didn't have, like, a church that I would call, like, I mean, we had the church that I grew up in, but I just didn't have one that I felt, like, comfortable calling, like, my home church yet, because I was kind of just seeing different ones out when I was, like, back home before, and I never really felt at home somewhere yet. So I knew that coming home that was, like, a priority for me, was to actually explore and, like, just pray about which church, like, I'm meant to go to when I'm home. And I had different ideas of what that would look like and what that so anyway, I guess, like, as an answer to prayer, basically, the first night coming home, I actually was just talking with my mom, and she was telling me about this new church plant that was based off our old church, and kind of had everything that I seemed to be, like, praying that I wanted in a church, that I felt it was going to be a very smooth transition. And I know that it's still online for now, but there is ways to, like, start getting involved, and so I think it's just taking steps during this time. I mean, you can take, like, you can still take small steps into the right direction of, like, getting involved places, whether that's through, like, online, or you can get creative and make videos like this, but like, just to keep yourself encouraged and actually, like, pouring into the, like, church community, whether that's looks like going to a building or whether that's just, like, through other things at the moment. Mm-hmm. So far I think it's been all right.
But it is really important to get right back in to a church, at least once you can. Can we give a shout out to what the new church is? Sure. Citizens Church, it's called. Oh yeah, am I allowed to drop a name of who I lived with when I was at Bible school?
Well, that's up to you.
So we didn't have dorms or anything, so we had to find our own living quarters. And I lived in an apartment building with a guy named Mark Robinson from Bancroft, great guy. And he has a nephew, quite a famous nephew named, dropping name.
Sure.
He has a nephew named Mike Fisher. And for Canadians, hopefully hockey fans would know Mike Fisher from the Ottawa Senators / Nashville Predators. And those that aren't hockey fans anywhere else other than Canada, Mike is married to Carrie Underwood. Yes. I got to go visit Mikey when he was just a little guy, take him to his hockey games and stuff. That was pretty cool. Just dropping a name, getting some, that's clickbait, right? Okay, so you were saying earlier that you don't, for these videos, you don't really want to compare YWAM to Capernwray to KLBS to Cook.
Well, like DTS to Kokua Crew.
Yeah, you don't want to compare them, and I agree. Why don't you want to compare them?
Well, because they're so different.
Yeah.
Well, what I also mentioned was that if you looked into YWAM and you know a little bit about it, the DTS, Discipleship Training School, is just the very first level of schooling that YWAM does. That's your base that you need to do any other school above it. As opposed to Capernwray. Capernwray is just a Bible school. They're just...
like KLBS probably.
Yeah. It just has their one course. That's what they run. And then you can staff and you can do stuff, but that's their course. And so if you're comparing anything, I would compare Capernwray's Bible course to the SBS, so School of Biblical Studies, something more like intense biblical studying type of deal. Anyway, I think the main reason is just because they're so different, and I would love to get more into depth about like one or the other. Then if you have inquiries about one, you can watch that one. If you want to know about like the other, then you watch kind of either, and you can compare them in your own mind. Like there's so much information I can give for all of them. And then Kokua Crew is like a whole different thing in itself because it's more of a volunteer opportunity, so you'd be looking for something completely different if you were to do that even. So
but you're gonna want to watch them all.
Yeah. So
this is the cool thing. This was kind of my idea about doing this right before you even home from Australia, was that we know a lot of people that have gone to one or the other, and then you have friends that have actually gone to the crew. How do you say it? Kokua Crew in Hawaii, and then gone to Capernwray too. So what we'd like to do is actually interview those people also, whether it's YWAM or Capernwray. I talked to a girl tonight that was at our house who had been to Capernwray, 2 different Capernwrays in Europe.
Oh yeah.
She was at the Hall and...
Spain?
Anyway, and I mentioned that to her because she had watched our first video, and I said, hey, this is what we'd like to do, and she was all over it. She was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm sure there are lots of others. And whether we have to do it by Zoom or whatever, because some of your friends that I don't even know that have been, I think it would be good to chat with them too. And so what was her name? Flora Morrison. You said that you were interested in going to something in Australia. So there are more than one YWAM base in Australia. The one that you were at was...
Sunshine Coast.
And I know that all the bases are different. And so as a father who went to a Brethren Bible School and still goes to quite a conservative Bible church, I am happy that you went to the one that you did go to. It seemed like it was better than some. I mean, we obviously don't know them all, but just from watching some videos on YouTube and such. So this is another reason why we want to do this and get it out there, that there are some good ones out there. We're going to go more into depth in that in some other time.
I also I went traveling after for a little bit, and a friend and I actually got in contact with one of the bases. A perk of being a YWAMer is that you get to just stay at any YWAM base whenever you would like into the future. So we got to stay at one. It was in Sydney, Newtown it's called. It's a brand new base. So I know a little bit about that one, so I can share that one too.
Well, we were pretty pleased with our first video, the reaction that we got. I was gonna start out by saying that Monser does all the editing. It was awesome. It was crazy good. She made the first one look and sound. A lot of cutting, but she did a really good job. And then if you haven't watched her commercial for her clothes sale, you gotta watch that too, because that was really good. A little bit of dancing and stuff in there. So give it a watch. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.